Hi there, it's Nick Dutch. How the heck's it going? Just through watching a video by a YouTube user called KingHeathen, with a capital K and a capital H, entitled Sylvia Browne and Other Psychics, in which he essentially does quite a good job at destroying Sylvia Browne, who is a psychic who's basically been done for all kinds of things, and has come out with some rather outlandish prophecies which are basically thoroughly and completely and utterly inappropriate. Now, I've got a few things to say about this. First and foremost, within any market, there is always a KingHeathen. Within every market, there's always scam artists. And as I'm sure you're aware through being on YouTube, the people who've got some of the most egregious views in the whole wide world, people like Alex Jones, Thunderfoot, Venom Fang X, they tend to get a lot of attention. And they tend to broadcast quite heavily. And as a result of that, they tend to, float to the surface. Now, this is true in traditional media such as television, books, magazines, and all the rest of that, as well as it is in new media. So it doesn't really surprise me that Sylvia Browne is quite well known, and in this particular case for being a bit of a shady character and a bit dodgy. But she certainly doesn't represent what we are all here to do. A lot of you might know, not all of you of course, but a lot of you might know that I am within what you might call the psychic industry, but I tend to consider it to be the psychic entertainment industry. Now, what I don't know about Sylvia Browne is whether she had the appropriate disclaimers on all of her works. I've mentioned before a certain New Age author who I think was called Shelley von Strucknell, who tried to present everything as if it was hard and fast fact. Okay, and for someone like me who I personally regard myself as a bit of a hardcore New Ager in many different ways, I would disagree heavily with a lot of things that Shelley von Strucknell wrote about in her books, just as I would disagree with Sylvia Browne and her methodology. On my Nick Dutch Tarot channel, which is my other main channel where I tend to do these weekly tarot shows, it's become common practice for me to place the disclaimer either in the video itself or in the credits to the video, saying that this service should be considered to be an entertainment service for good moral and ethical reasons, namely that whoever it is, the inquirer, has to be able to think for themselves, and they're the final decision makers and not me. I think that's the best way of expressing this. And also, there's something good about the psychic industry. It gives people an opportunity to have a conversation with someone who's removed from a situation, and that's essentially what a lot of it is really about. And yes, I do have some faith in what you might call or consider to be the heebie-jeebie aspects of it, but I certainly wouldn't use that as being something which should be more heavily relied upon than anything that you might regard as being normal. It's a point of view. It's something which adds a bit of complexity to people's interpretation of life and can be used in a positive way depending upon the skill of the person doing the presentation, which of course in my case is me. Sylvia Browne is quite evidently much more of the KingHeathen-esque type individual, and is just out for the money rather than necessarily out to try and find something which could do people some good. And as such, she's obviously pretty damn despicable. What I would say is that she's, by my estimation, and as a result of conversations that I've had with other people within this industry, via various blogs and forums and message groups for people who are professionals in this field, that she certainly doesn't represent the full spectrum, okay, of what we within this industry are actually about. And I think the people who are trying to criticize a market or a set of ideas have got to stop trying to tar an entire group with the same brush. Now, it's just like, the extremists within the atheist movement trying to tar all religious people or all religions with the same brush as fundamentalism, when essentially they don't actually come out against the more moderate views. Instead, they try and present the more moderate views as if the more moderate views are extremist views, which is, you know, technically and culturally wrong. You know, it's not factual. So I guess my message is big thumbs up to KingHeathen for having done a wonderful video. I don't feel that he missed the mark. I think he's got the mark straight on with Sylvia Browne and people of a KingHeathen-esque nature. But I would say there's also a tendency within the viewership to potentially damage either the reputation or the benefits that this industry could provide towards other people. I mean, I personally don't think that I'm alone in trying to use this service in a way which could be regarded as being positive and useful and socially beneficial. I really don't think I am. And my experiences and the conversations I've had with other people seem to imply that basically I'm not alone, and that the vast majority of people here in this industry do try and do the best that they can for their clients and aren't just interested in getting themselves large houses, yachts, and all the rest of that stuff. It's different. Just a few thoughts for today. Keep cool.